Hello guys, welcome to my humble YouTube channel where I bring you fanfiction that will brighten your days. Before we start, a subscribe is greatly appreciated, and don't forget to leave a like and ring the bell icon so you won't miss exciting new fanfiction stories. True God in Another World, Tensura x Tbate, by Tempest_King_20. Chapter 9. Disciples Virian Aerolith Pav. I watched in awe as the child walked away from me. In all my years of existence, I had never witnessed such a remarkable display of confidence and power, especially from a child so young. At just 4 years old, this child had not only awakened his mana core, but had already managed to reach the dark orange core, a feat that even most adult elves struggled to achieve. It was nothing short of extraordinary and truly unparalleled among our kind. As I observed the child's movements, it became evident that every step he took was executed with absolute precision and grace. There was a fluidity to his walk, a silent assurance that spoke volumes about the extensive training he must have contained. It was as if he had become a master of defense, never exposing a single vulnerability, even in the most subtle of moments. Whether he was strolling or seated, his guard remained steadfast, his senses constantly on alert. Every quality about this child seems to radiate an aura of a seasoned warrior, battle-hardened and honed through millions of life or death encounters. With a smile on my face, I turned my attention back to the book that lay before me. If the information inscribed within these pages proves to be true, it holds the potential to save millions of lives of my fellow elves. I will make them my disciples, I murmured to myself, fully aware that my son and his wife had overheard my declaration. Dad, you can't possibly mean that, my son shouted, his voice tinged with disbelief and concern. Why not? I responded calmly, my conviction unwavering. They have captured my interest, and save your daughter. And with these notes, we have the means to rescue potentially hundreds, even thousands, of our elven brethren. But father, they are humans. We cannot simply disregard our traditions, Alduin protested, his voice laced with the weight of generational customs. Tradition. I scoffed, dismissively waved my hand. Tradition may hold significance, but in the face of such an opportunity to save lives, it pales in comparison. These children shall be placed under my protection, and I shall ensure that no harm befalls them. Besides, Tess desires for them to stay. Alduin opened his mouth to object, but I interrupted him, my tone turning serious. And what of young Arthur? He possesses a latent power that, if left untreated, could very well consume him. Are you willing to let our daughter's savior perish without a fighting chance when we possess the means to rescue him? Alduin faltered, his words lost in thought, his initial resistance crumbling under the weight of logic and compassion. Enough, I declared firmly, my gaze unwavering. I understand your resentment towards humans, given what happened to your mother during the war 100 years ago. But you must remember that these are innocent children, untainted by the past. As Rimuru himself has stated, not all humans are wicked. There exists among them both good and evil. Okay, I'll make an announcement about it. Reluctantly, Alduin sighed and conceded defeat, his face betraying a mixture of reluctance and contemplation. Perhaps this incident would serve as a turning point, reshaping his perspective on humans and allowing him to see the potential goodness that exists within them. Aya. As if responding to my call, a sense of magic filled the air, and two figures slowly materialized before me, their once hidden forms now revealed. Like phantoms materializing from the ethereal plane, Aya and Aliyah, two of our kingdom's most skilled elves, stood before me, their serene yet watchful faces betraying their presence. Yes, Elder Virian, how may we be of service? Aya's voice carried an air of softness and determination, mirroring her poised stance. Aya Greffin. A surge of excitement coursed through my veins as I prepared to share my decision with them. I wish for you to inform Rimuru that I have chosen to take him and his brother as my disciples, I declared, my voice tinged with anticipation. Hi, Elder Virian, Aya replied, her words laced with urgency. But there is something crucial I must bring to your attention first. Intrigued, I leaned forward, my eyes fixed on Aya, eager to hear what she had discovered. What is it? I inquired. Aya's face revealed a mixture of astonishment and concern, a subtle flicker of emotions crossing her features. The boy Rimuru. He was able to see through my illusion, she disclosed, her voice almost tinged with disbelief. And not only that, I sensed an immense reservoir of mana emanating from him, far surpassing what a dark orange core would typically possess. The revelation resonated within me, creating ripples of surprise and curiosity. Aya's exceptional mastery of illusion magic was renowned throughout our kingdom, yet this mere child had somehow pierced through her artistry. "What? Are you absolutely certain?" Alduin interjected, his voice echoing with shock. "Yes, my king," Aaliyah interjected firmly, lending further weight to Aya's discovery. "There is no doubt. Rimuru carries within him an extraordinary amount of mana, far exceeding what one would expect at the dark orange core." Aaliyah Triscan. Unable to contain my excitement, I laughed heartily, the sound reverberating through the room. "Ha ha ha. It appears my intuition regarding this young monster was accurate," I exclaimed, relishing in the exhilarating rush of the unknown. The sheer potential of what Rimuru and his brother could achieve with the right mentorship sparked an uncontrollable fire within me, fueling my determination to train and guide them. As the excitement settled, I turned my attention back to Aya and Aaliyah. "Thank you for bringing this to my attention. This only reinforces my decision to take Rimuru and his brother under my wing," I said firmly. Aya nodded, her expression grave. "Understood, Elder Virian. We will relay your message to Rimuru without delay." With a nod of acknowledgement, Aya and Aaliyah gracefully faded away, leaving behind only the faint traces of their magical presence. "Rimuru Pav, less than did you really have to do that?" Greater than Sylvia asked, her voice laced with a genuine curiosity, as I followed the maid through the immaculate corridors of the luxurious mansion. The walls were adorned with exquisite paintings and intricate tapestries, exuding a sense of opulence and grandeur. The soft glow of crystal chandeliers lit our path, casting a golden hue on the marble floors that seemed to stretch for miles. I took a moment to respond, my mind swirling with the events that had just unfolded. Contemplating Sylvia's question, I allowed myself a vulnerable smile, masking the chaos that had transpired moments ago. Greater than what do you mean?" Less than I finally asked, feigning innocence but fully aware of the chaos that had just ensued moments ago. Sylvia exhaled sharply, frustration evident on her face. "Less than releasing your mana like that. If you had simply bowed when we arrived, perhaps we could have avoided all of this mess." Greater than. A mischievous smirk crept across my lips as I remembered the infuriating confrontation. Greater than they angered me, Sylvia." Less than I replied, my tone filled with a fiery passion. Greater than their foolish arrogance and pettiness. I am a demon lord and god, even in this diminutive childlike form, and I simply refuse to bow to anyone. Less than. Less than right. The master should not bow to anyone. They shall bow to you. Greater than Seal chimed in, her voice resonating with support. She seemed to find my act of rebellion rather amusing, adding a touch of lightness to the tense atmosphere. Greater than you see, even Seal agrees with me. Less than I remarked, feeling a sense of validation in my stance. Sylvia let out a defeated sigh, her shoulders slumping slightly. Greater than ha. "I can't beat you, can I?" Less than she admitted, her voice tinged with a mix of resignation and amusement. I laughed. The sheer audacity of it all filled me with both exhilaration and pride. Greater than no, my dear Sylvia. You cannot. Less than. As I reached my room, I swung the door open and stepped inside, anxious to examine my new surroundings. The room was bathed in a soft golden light, filtering in through the elegant stained glass windows. A large, canopied bed stood in the center, inviting rest and comfort after a long journey. Eager to freshen up, I turned towards the ensuite bathroom and undressed, the cool air grazing my skin. The bathroom was spacious and opulent, adorned with marble flooring and glistening fixtures. Stepping into the pristine glass-enclosed shower, I sighed contentedly as warm water cascaded over my body, washing away the grime of the road. But my moment of tranquility was interrupted by Sylvia's voice, breaking through the tranquility like a sudden thunderclap. Less than by the way, greater than she began, her voice laced with curiosity. Less than why didn't you divulge the locations of all the hideouts of slave traders? Greater than. Pausing for a moment to gather my thoughts, tiny droplets of water cascading down my skin, I replied earnestly, greater than because I have intentions of recruiting some of them. In order to win this war, we need a formidable force of magicians, and many of those who have been involved in such unspeakable acts have nowhere else to turn. Yet, I also yearn to kill those despicable. Less than. Sylvia's anxious tone cut through the steam-filled air, her concern palpable. Less than are you sure we can win? Greater than she asked, her worry seeping into her words. Contemplating her question, I pressed my hand against the steamy glass, traces of my reflection distorted in the condensation. Greater than unfortunately, less than I began, greater than without knowledge of your ex-fiancé's strategies, the size of his army, or their collective strength. I cannot claim an easy victory until I release the seal that binds my abilities. Less than. Sylvia's eyes grew wide, a mixture of hope and uncertainty clouding her features. Less than, but will you win? Greater than, yes, we will triumph. However, there will unquestionably be casualties and sacrifices, for I possess only a fragment of information about the enemy's arsenal. Their preparations for war have far surpassed ours in both time and thoroughness. Less than. Stepping out of the shower, I towel-dried myself and swiftly donned fresh, regal attire. Seeking solace in movement, I decided to take a stroll around the palace grounds. As I walked, the curious gazes of the palace servants met my path. A mixture of scorn, hatred, and disgust etched upon their faces, as though peering at nothing more than repugnant refuse. Incensed by their disdainful looks, Ciel's angry voice echoed in my mind, her words dripping with vengeance. Less than how dare they direct such contemptuous glances at you? Master. Allow me the pleasure of erasing their existence. Let me unleash my torment upon them. Greater than. Seeking to temper her fury, I responded with a steadying tone, greater than calm yourself, Ciel. Remember, these elves have lost their kin in the war with humans. While I do not condone their hostility, we must bide our time for now. Less than. Her voice laced with disappointment, Ciel obediently replied less than High Master, greater than. Perplexed by her disheartened tone, I questioned, greater than HOI, why would you be disappointed? Less than. Masking her emotions, she quickly replied, less than just your imagination, Master, greater than. As I continued to ignore Ciel's comment, an inexplicable sensation lingered in the air, compelling me to investigate further. Unable to resist my curiosity, my eyes wandered until they landed upon a secluded corner. Suddenly, a voice broke the silence, jolting me out of my musings. Miss, I know I am handsome, but that is no reason for you to follow me, I quipped, a hint of playfulness lacing my words. With a soft chuckle, the source of the voice materialized before me. Haha, sorry, but I was interested in seeing the child who could see me though I hid myself so well. She was an ethereal elf woman, her unveiling exuding an otherworldly beauty that left me momentarily breathless. Her slender frame radiated grace as her midnight black tresses cascaded down her back, glinting with a mesmerizing sheen under the ambient lighting. Each strand seemed alive, dancing joyously in the gentle breeze. Her eyes, twin obsidian orbs shimmering with a veil of mystery, held an unfathomable depth. Their captivating gaze possessed an enigmatic allure, drawing me in, coaxing me to unravel their secrets. Her skin, flawless and pale as freshly fallen snow, boasted a porcelain-like complexion. It glistened with a subtle luminosity, as if illuminated by the ethereal moonlight. Its smoothness conveyed an otherworldly quality, as if she were a mythical creature crafted from the purest elements. As she spoke, her voice resonated with an alluring charm, tinged with seductiveness. I couldn't help but wonder why she felt the need to enhance it when her natural allure was already bewitching and tempting. Observing Ciel's reaction to my earlier comment, I couldn't deny that she was clearly irritated, despite her attempts to mask it. Greater than ah, Ciel-san, are you angry? Less than. With a dismissive huff, she responded, less than no, it's just your imagination. Greater than. Amused by her disingenuous reply, I couldn't help but apologize, a smile tugging at my lips. Greater than haha, I'm sorry, Ciel. Less than. Her silence spoke volumes, providing me with all the confirmation I needed. Greater than I'll do anything you want. Okay, Ciel? Less than as soon as I said that, Ciel's mood shifted from an angry frown to pure happiness. Less than really, will you do anything? You can't go back on your words? Greater than she exclaimed, her mood completely lifted. Greater than yeah, so would you forgive me? Less than greater than I felt Ciel nod her head happily, while Sylvia chuckled. After the storm of Ciel's anger had finally subsided, I released a long and relieved sigh, allowing the tension in the air to dissipate. The sense of ease provided me with the opportunity to refocus my attention on the elf standing before me, eager to delve deeper into the reason for her visit. "So, miss, did you come here just to see me? And could you please tell me your name?" My curiosity propelled me forward, yearning for more information. The elf's expression shifted subtly, preparing to answer my inquiries. With a poise and confidence that radiated from her every movement, she straightened her back and spoke, her voice carrying a unique blend of self-assurance and excitement. "My name is Aya Greffin, and I have come to inform you that Elder Virion wishes for you and your brother to become his disciples. He requests your presence immediately," she revealed, her words carrying a weight of importance. I couldn't help but feel a surge of curiosity and anticipation at her words. Without wasting any time, I pressed Aya for more information. But did he mention the reason why he wants us as his disciples?" I inquired, stepping closer to her side as she gestured towards our destination, the Elder. Aya fell into a brief silence, her brows furrowing with thought as she carefully contemplated her response. "I informed him of your ability to penetrate my illusion, which greatly intrigued him. Furthermore, it is an exceedingly rare occurrence to encounter a 4-year-old who has not only awakened his mana core but reached the dark orange stage," she elucidated, emphasizing the rarity of my extraordinary talents. Nodding in understanding, I absorbed her words. A playful glint sparkled in my eyes as a thought formed in my mind. "Ah, I see. Well, if my brother and I indeed stay here, how about you and I engage in a friendly sparring match?" I proposed, a mischievous smile dancing across my lips. Surprised yet visibly elated by my unexpected proposition, Aya's features brightened. "Sure, but shouldn't your focus primarily be on training with Elder Virion?" she questioned with a hint of concern lacing her voice. Smirking, I reassured her, "I anticipate that the Elder will dedicate a greater portion of his energy towards my brother's training rather than mine. Besides, I do not plan on spending all my time training with him. I will request a week, perhaps even a month off, to attend to other matters." Raising an eyebrow, Aya inquired, "Why would the Elder prioritize your brother over you?" Her confusion was palpable in her words. I stopped in my tracks and I turned to face her, giving her look like looking at a child who says something stupid. "Hey, don't look at me like that. I'm still older than you, you know," Aya said. The corner of my lips curled into a smirk as I continued, "Sigh, you exude strength comparable, if not superior, to that of the Elder himself. I naturally assumed you were aware of this. My brother possesses a beast will, an incredibly potent force that his frail body finds difficult to contain. Hence, Elder Virion needs to be cautious in his training," I explained, shedding light on the truth behind my brother's need for more attention. Understanding crossed Aya's features, her expression growing solemn as she absorbed this information. "Indeed. It would be a problem if your brother died. Princess Tessia seems to be close to him," she mused, her voice filled with concern. As we continued our journey towards the Elder, Aya couldn't resist throwing a sarcastic remark my way. "And why exactly would you require so many breaks?" she teased, her voice laced with a blend of curiosity and jest. "Are you merely a lazy child?" Chuckling, mischievousness twinkling in my eyes, I responded, "There is something I need to attend to, Aya. Once the energy within my brother has settled to a regulated level, I shall venture elsewhere." Curiosity flickered in Aya's eyes as she eagerly inquired, her voice filled with genuine intrigue. "Where are you going? Can I accompany you?" Teasingly, I retorted, stretching out the suspense for a brief moment, "Have you already fallen head over heels for my company?" Watching her momentarily freeze in surprise, I couldn't contain my laughter at the look on her face. "I jest, Aya," I quickly reassured her. "The truth is, my destination remains a secret." A mixture of intrigue and disappointment flickered across Aya's face as she realized I was not going to reveal my plans. However, the mystery hangs in the air only seemed to intensify her interest, adding another layer of excitement to the journey that lay ahead. "I've come to a decision, Arthur. I want you to become my disciple," Elder Virion declared, his authoritative voice resonating through the garden where I and Aya had just arrived. I couldn't help but interject, "I also think it would be a great opportunity for us, Art," I chimed in, making my presence known. Elder Virion turned his attention towards me, his aged eyes gleaming with curiosity. "Ah, Rimuru, you have arrived. What is your answer?" he inquired, clearly anticipating my response. After a moment of contemplation, I replied, I see no reason to decline. I accept, but under certain conditions. I wanted to ensure that I wasn't willingly entering into a commitment without first discussing my terms. The elder raised an eyebrow, a hint of bemusement in his voice. Ho ho. There are many brats who will rush to accept my offer without anything, but you say you want conditions for me to train you. Well, what are your conditions? He asked, intrigued by my audacity. Before I could articulate my terms, Arthur, who had been standing beside me, finally processed the gravity of the situation and blurted out, Wait. You can't be serious about us becoming your disciples, can you? And you can't be serious about accepting his offer. Both Elder Virian and I tilted our heads in confusion, simultaneously questioning, why not? For one thing, we're human. Are humans even allowed in this kingdom? Also we need to check on our family and tell them we're okay. Art exclaimed, his worries consuming him. Well, one of the conditions was to make sure our family was okay and tell them we were. As for the other concerns, I glanced at Elder Virian, silently prompting him to address Art's doubts. Residing in the kingdom should not pose a problem, as long as you are officially recognized as my disciples. I have already instructed my son to announce your acceptance, and I possess a means to contact your family, but is it an absolute necessity to meet them in person? The elder explained, his voice resonating with reassurance. Relieved, I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding and replied to Elder Virian, That's perfectly fine, Elder Virian. Although we miss our parents dearly, we understand that it might not be necessary for us to meet them in person at the moment. However, we must address Arthur's predicament first. Elder Virian's expression turned serious as he acknowledged our concerns. Oh, so you are aware? He muttered, his tone laced with curiosity. Nodding, I continued, I can feel the raging power within him. Well, I expected you to, Rimuru. After all, you were able to perceive even the best illusion mage in our kingdom, and our best undercover. Elder Virian elaborated, shedding light on Aya. Suddenly feeling left out, Arthur interjected with frustration evident in his voice, and why am I being left out of this conversation again? What's wrong with me? And when did Rimuru even have the chance to see your best undercover? At that moment, Aya snapped out of her illusion, surprising Arthur as she materialized behind him with a mischievous grin. Boo! She exclaimed, causing him to stumble and fall, much to the amusement of the rest of us. As we chuckled at the harmless prank, Elder Virian introduced Aya. Well, Arthur, this is our best undercover agent and one of the royal guards, Aya Greffin. She was present at the meeting, using her illusion magic. However, your brother possessed the unique ability to perceive her, the elder explained. Arthur, now composed but still grumbling, muttered, I see. But there was no need to scare me like that, Aya. Aya playfully admitted, ha, I couldn't resist pulling a little prank. Sorry about that, Arthur. Interrupting the light-hearted moment, Arthur focused back on the pressing matter at hand. But what about my problem? What did you mean by the beast's wool, and did you already know about it? Art inquired, seeking answers. Well, Arthur, you have something called the beast's wool, which is too strong for your immature body to handle. If you don't control it soon, it will destroy your body from the inside out. Elder Virian explained, his voice filled with concern as he crouched down to Arthur's level and gently placed his hand on the area where the mana core was located. Turning his gaze towards me, Arthur's narrowed eyes showed a mix of confusion and accusation. And did you know about this, brother? Did you withhold this information from me? Sighing, I looked away briefly before meeting his gaze, my voice tinged with guilt. Of course, I did, Arthur. It was in the books our mother gave to us. However, you were always more engrossed in studying the intricate elements of magic rather than delving into the world of beasts and their cores. Annoyed, Arthur pressed further, so, why didn't you tell me? This is a crucial piece of information. I averted my gaze, trying to maintain a nonchalant facade, but knowing that my lie was becoming increasingly transparent. To teach you a lesson, dear brother, I reluctantly admitted. Seizing the opportunity to add a light-hearted remark, Sylvia chimed in with amusement. Less than haha, it seems I'm not the only one who forgets to share important information with Art, greater than. Arthur, quickly catching onto my half-hearted attempt at diversion, narrowed his eyes at me suspiciously. Oh really? Are you sure that's the only reason? Because it certainly seems like you conveniently forgot to tell me. I tried to appear indignant, even though guilt nagged at the corners of my conscience. Absolutely not. You know me, Arthur. I would never intentionally withhold something like this from you. Can't you trust your own sibling? Elder Virian, an observer of our sibling banter, couldn't help but find amusement in our predicament. A faint smile danced across his face as he interjected, eager to diffuse the tension and offer a solution. Haha, it appears you did, in fact, forget to inform your brother, Rimuru. However, rather than dwelling on past mistakes, let us relocate to a more suitable location. There, I can provide a more detailed explanation of Arthur's situation and guide him towards mastering control over the beasts within him. It is the most pressing matter at hand, after all. I'll skip it, I announced, my voice filled with exhaustion. I'll retire to my room and rest. The elder nodded in agreement, his wise eyes filled with understanding. His white beard swayed as he gently stroked it. Very well, he replied, his voice carrying a soothing quality. Tomorrow, we shall visit an old friend of mine who possesses the abilities to help you communicate with your parents. Okay, I replied, grateful for the elder's assistance. Good night. With a final nod, I bid the elder farewell and turned to make my way towards the grand palace. The beauty of the architecture never failed to captivate me, even though I had seen countless palaces before. The intricate patterns etched into the walls and the towering spires seemed to hold a sense of mystique, drawing me in with their charm. Despite the palace's primitive design, there was an undeniable allure to its ancient grandeur. As I walked through the palace corridors, I felt a presence behind me and turned to find Aya following closely. Her footsteps were barely audible, but her comforting presence was unmistakable. Looks like you've already memorized your way to your room, Aya remarked, a playful smile gracing her lips. I chuckled, feeling a sense of comfort in her lightheartedness. Well, I can remember anything I watch or read, even if it was only once, I replied, an air of confidence in my voice. Aya's eyes sparkled with a mixture of curiosity and envy. You have a remarkable ability there, one that I wish I had, she admitted, her voice tinged with longing. It may seem like a good ability, but it has its drawbacks, I confessed, my tone turning more serious. There are times when people's brains can't handle the overwhelming amount of information, leading to madness. And sometimes, I wish I could forget certain things because remembering everything can be quite burdensome, especially if it's embarrassing or sad memories. Aya nodded in understanding, her eyes filled with empathy. I think you're right about that, she replied softly. And I like the way you think. It's hard to believe you're only 4 years old. I couldn't help but smile at her genuine compliment. Thank you, I replied gratefully. Now, how long are you going to keep up with me, or do you want to sleep in my room? I teased her playfully. Aya chuckled lightly, shaking her head. You see what I mean? She said, her voice tinged with a mix of amusement and resignation. There is no way a child should be inviting a girl to his bed. We both burst into laughter, realizing the absurdity of my words. Well, that's because we've arrived at my room, I explained, gesturing towards the door that stood before us. Aya's eyes widened in surprise as she finally noticed our destination. I've been so focused on you that I didn't even pay attention, she admitted sheepishly. I'll leave you now, rest well. As an exchange of warm smiles passed between us, Aya slowly turned and began walking away, her figure gradually fading into the distance. I entered my room, the soft glow of the dimmed lights casting a gentle and tranquil atmosphere. The room felt like a safe haven, inviting me to surrender to the comfort of my bed, offering respite from the world outside. Just as I was about to settle in, a soft, delicate voice sliced through the silence, engulfing the room with a tinge of melancholy. It was Seal hesitantly voicing her heartfelt request. Less than master, did you forget about our promise? Greater than Ciel's voice quivered with anticipation, causing my heart to skip a beat in response. Greater than no, I haven't forgotten, so what do you want? Less than I asked, my voice betraying a hint of uncertainty. Ciel took a moment to gather her courage before continuing. Less than so, master, can I sleep with you? Greater than her words hung in the air, creating a sense of vulnerability and momentary silence. Startled by her request, my mind raced to process the situation. Greater than caught off guard, I stumbled over my words, struggling to comprehend the significance of her question. Are you sure? In the first place, how could you sleep with me? My voice wavered with a mix of curiosity and uncertainty. Without a hint of doubt, Seal mustered her courage and met my gaze with determination. Less than yeah, I'm sure. I can utilize the master's abilities, so will you allow me? Greater than? My mind swirled with a flurry of conflicted emotions, but a sense of duty prevailed within me. I knew I couldn't simply brush off her request. Okay, I'll let you. I agreed, albeit hesitantly, realizing the weight and importance of granting Ciel's wish. The thought of sharing my sleeping space with a girl was uncharted territory, and my nerves tingled with anticipation. Eagerly expressing her gratitude, Ciel's voice rang out, heartfelt and appreciative. Less than thank you, master. Greater than as her words faded, a mysterious black smoke billowed in front of me, before revealing Ciel using one of my clones. Less than ha ha ha. I'm going to sleep too, so you can do that. Greater than Sylvia's mischievous voice chimed in, her words dripping with playful teasing. Don't say it that way. I scolded her, though she simply laughed at my response. Ugh, this old dragon is going to drive me crazy one day, I grumbled inwardly, worried about the awkwardness that lay ahead. Resolving to make the situation as smooth as possible, I turned to Ciel and offered a suggestion. Then let's go to bed, but let's create an illusion in the room. It will be challenging to explain your presence, especially since you look so similar to me. My voice held a hint of anxiousness, reflecting my concern for potential complications. In response to my suggestion, Ciel assured me, less than I've already taken care of it, master. Greater than. With a tentative nod, Ciel and I climbed into bed, the weight of the impending intimacy heavy in the air. My nerves buzzed, rendering sleep an elusive dream. And then, unexpectedly, Ciel broke the silence and hugged me from behind, her touch gentle and comforting, her voice soft and filled with a mix of gratitude and vulnerability. Thank you, master, for listening to my selfish request. But if I'm burdening or intruding upon you, I can return to residing within your soul, she confessed, sensing my restlessness. I turned my body around, our gazes connecting in a tender moment of understanding. No, it's okay. Even though I'm nervous, it doesn't mean I'm reneging on my promise. Consider it a token of my appreciation for everything you've done for me, even though it might not do justice to your contributions. For a fleeting moment, Ciel attempted to protest, believing she was undeserving of such treatment. But I silenced her, my voice gentle yet firm. Shish, Ciel, at the very least, accept my gratitude. Consider it an order. Unable to deny my sentiments, Ciel acquiesced, if it's what master wants. With the air thick with unspoken emotions, we lingered in each other's presence, the bond between us palpable. Breaking the silence, I pressed a tender kiss against Ciel's forehead, my own cheeks burning with embarrassment. I could feel her blush, her eyes widening with astonishment. Good night, Ciel, I murmured, my voice barely a whisper, filled with a mixture of affection and longing. Jigo good night, master. Ciel's response quivered with equal parts surprise and anticipation. And so, surrounded by the serenity of the dimmed room, we surrendered to the embrace of sleep, our hearts intertwined in a moment of vulnerability and trust.